Hi, I just recently went on a trip to the Seychelles and I wanted to share my experience because I've always wanted to go to the Seychelles and I didn't really do any research before going and I booked my trip very last minute and I thought it would be fun to share my experience. Um, I live in Norway and the weather can be depressing in the winter. The winters last like 9 months. Um, And the week before my trip, I was pre-period, so a little more emotional than normal, and I let those emotions trick me into doing something very spontaneous, which I'm not like super spontaneous. I'm semi-spontaneous, and I booked a trip to the Seychelles for leaving on Friday on that Monday. And I thought, who is crazy enough to do that with me? And I thought, well, the woman that birthed me is pretty spontaneous, so let's see if she wants to join along. So that's what I did, and we booked it, and this is my experience. The first day was essentially a travel day. I flew out from Oslo with Qatar Airways, where I met with my mom in Doha, Hamad International Airport, where we spent a couple of hours roaming around. And then eventually got to the Seychelles, where I picked up a SIM card to have data, which was relatively cheap, 25 euros for 15 gigs. And then we had 7 hours to kill at the marina, which was long. But we eventually got access to the boat and got a briefing, and shortly after got from Mahé to Saint-Anne, which was about a 40-minute boat ride, where we also at that time got to meet all of the wonderful people we would be with for the week, which was 5 really wonderful women. So in total we were 5 women. We got to Saint-Anne and we had our first dip of the day. So then the first day we started our day in Saint-Anne, had breakfast and a swim, which would become our new routine, before we shortly sailed off from Saint-Anne to Pralin. There wasn't a lot of wind. The skipper put the big sail out to get an extra push, I assume. I'm not a sailor. We got to see some dolphins, which was really fun. They were beautiful just playing with the boat. There was about 5 or 6. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? The skipper stopped for us to enjoy the view. It was a really magical first day on the boat, honestly. Felt like we were in a fairy tale or in a movie, or but yeah, I was a little bit nauseous the first couple of days. I had some sea bands on, which really helped, and it was crazy how calm the weather was, and I was still a little but it must have been the long travel day. I hadn't slept in like 35 hours, so I was still recovering from that. I'm a sensitive creature. I need my sleep. Then we just got to enjoy the absolutely wonderful crystal clear waters getting towards the island. The third day, we had a little more activity, if we can call that. As usual, we'd have a swim, have breakfast, and then the skipper took us on the tender to one side of the island so that we could hike essentially to the other side where the giant tortoises are. It was very hot, like 30 degrees, which my pasty Norwegian adapted body was still getting used to, but let me tell you, I really enjoyed the vitamin D after months of dark, sad, depressing times. So yeah, we got to the other side of the island, where we got to meet like, I don't know, 30, 60 giant tortoises, and the staff around told us that we could pet them. Obviously I wouldn't just go up and pet a wild animal like that, but they were like, no, they're friendly. They love their neck to be scratched. It's really weird. It's like petting a scaly dinosaur dog. but they're friendly. There was one that was called Obama that was secluded from all the others by choice, and I think he's my spirit animal, honestly. Look at them. They look so funny. They look like little robots. Animatronic creatures. But they're real. There were also some baby sharks in the water that we got to see, which looks like fish, but they're baby sharks. And I got to finally get a little closer to the beautiful like Seychelles rocks that I've been fantasizing over since I was a child. Because we had a book in our toilet that was about like the most beautiful seas and beaches in the world. And that was pre-social media, so when you were doing your business, you'd just go through the pictures over and over again. And I used to be obsessed with the Seychelles pictures. Anyway, we finally got to snorkeling, and I took my Insta 360 Go for the first time. It was so much fun getting footage underwater and seeing these crazy fish, and the snorkeling just gets better and better as time goes. I was wearing a t-shirt because, again, my pasty little skin was not used to all this sun after months of darkness. And then, just enjoying our like beautiful life with like time lapse of the sunset, drinking a beer, waiting for dinner to be made. It's ridiculous how amazing the leisure life was. So the next day we went and saw these coco de mer in a natural reserve, which are coconuts that like the tree needs to mature for 25 years before it can make a fruit that takes like 6 to 7 years to mature. It was fabulous. Again, it looks like it's straight out of like a video game, like Lara Croft vibes. And after that, we did some more island hopping and snorkeling. I mean, the whole trip was just spot hopping, snorkeling, swimming, eating, the leisure life. And this was the best spot. The island was so wild and gorgeous, and we were the only boat there for a while, because every other spot there was like 25 catamarans or something. We're not the only ones, obviously. And then just look at the colors. It's just crazy. And since I'm a noob, my mask was covered in steam, so I couldn't really see anything. But when I look back at this footage, it's like, wow, I've never seen water like that. And this is not color corrected or anything, because I don't know how to do that. This is just pure vibes. And it was so fun just having my head underwater and then putting it up and seeing the landscape and thinking like, what is this? What have I done? This is the best money I've spent in a long time. I also choked on salt water a couple times because I couldn't get the tuba right on the mask because I'm an idiot. I survived. And I did see all the fish from Finding Nemo. So I just had to watch Finding Nemo and Finding Dory on the flight back, just to keep the Seychelles vibes going. I'll let you enjoy this peaceful footage of little fishies going around the most colorful, beautiful corals. And if this footage isn't enough for you, I did in fact get to swim with a sea turtle, and it's huge. It's the size of my entire torso, and she was just chomping on corals, unbothered by the dirty humans around her. Just look at the sun reflecting on the water. It was just... The next day we went to La Digue, which is the third biggest island in the inner islands, where we rented some bicycles that were in questionable condition, but they did what they were intended to do. And we just rode around the island all day. We started by going by the most popular area, which is called Source d'Argent, which is like the most famous beaches in the Seychelles, I think. And honestly, it was gorgeous and it was very nice, but there were so many people and it was a little small. Sound very privileged saying that, but it was just not the vibe we were used to, being on the boat away from everyone. I didn't even want to go in the water because I didn't want to get sand in my butt crack. That's how privileged I had gotten at this point. That's how, like, yeah. So we just stayed there for a bit. I read on my Kindle, sat in the shade, and that's my mom riding happily on her broken bicycle. We also saw more giant tortoises on the way that were in a little enclosure because I believe they eat all the vegetation, so they need to be kept separate, but I mean they have lots of food. There were so many cats and dogs in Source d'Argent. So yeah, then we turned around and went to the other side of the island, rode our bicycles to the other side of the island to get to a more secluded area where there's some rough currents. But my god, it was the most beautiful beach I've ever seen in my life. I have never been confident on the bicycle. I don't think I'll ever be confident on a bicycle, but when the landscape is just magical, you enjoy it. And it was fun. I like getting out of my comfort zone, even if it's scary. It's worth the trip. It's a really nice way to get around the island. So yeah, we had a bite to eat at this other beach called Grandance, and it was the most fabulous beach I've ever seen. My inner child was just so excited by the idea that I was in the Windows 98 screensaver or Windows XP screensaver. Yeah, felt like I was living my inner child's dreams, if you know what I'm talking about. My mom enjoyed it too. She did some body surfing. And then it was back to the boat for our last couple of days, where again we enjoyed the most magical sunset with a local takamaka cocktail made by our wonderful cook. We then started off our third to last day, going to a place called Cousin, where we got on James Bond style, which I thought was really fun. After that, I did a quick video of what our boat looked like. So this was the inside where we spent absolutely no time because it was 30 degrees Celsius every day. Where I'm pointing is where my cabin was, where I was sleeping. And then there's this tiny kitchen where our cook made food for all of us, which was amazing. There was a bunch of little fridges and freezers everywhere, and he would just mind-blowing how he can cook for so many people on such a small space. There's a bunch of places to hang out on the outside, which is nice, and then it's mirrored. There are 3 cabins on each side, plus 2 coffin cabins, I think they're called. This is my mom's cabin, which we were initially supposed to share, but since we were so little on the boat, I got to have my own cabin under the generator, which you'll see was pretty loud, but still better than sharing a bed. And her bathroom is connected to her room right there. All of the bathrooms are the same. then except my toilet, cabin, bathroom space is across the hall, so I have to cross the hall to get to it, but it's the same configuration as all the other ones, and each cabin has its own bathroom, which is insane. The bed is pretty spacious, but since I'm under the seating area, I would bonk my knees on the seats at night, and the window is on the inside. I don't have any windows to the outside, and that's the last cabin with the bathroom and everything, just like the others. So I took a little video of how you put the bathroom in shower mode. Essentially, the sink folds to the side, or you can also move the mirror around to get more privacy and darkness, which why would you want that? No. But you have storage behind there, and then you swivel the sink in and pull this big block that slides above the toilet. Boop. And that creates like a divider, and you've got a whole full-size shower. I'm not sure the shower in my house is that spacious actually. And you just slide it back and you have access to your toilet again. Friggin' genius. Don't know why that doesn't exist in other small spaces like tiny houses or vans. Yeah, as you can hear, it's very loud, and if you put your ear down on the pillow, it just vibrates. And yeah, my legs and knees were kicking the top part, but it was fine. And that's the view from my mom's cabin. I thought that was so cute, seeing the stars out. And yeah, we're getting to the very last days, which kind of all jumbled together. We had our same routine of swimming, snorkeling, and then sailing off back to the main island. The waves don't look it, but they were very big compared to anything we had had so far. And I wasn't wearing my sea bands. I had my full little boat legs at that point. I spent the whole 3 hours just reading, finishing my book, enjoying the final days. I wasn't even sad that it was the end of the trip, because I was just so amazed that I got to do this trip, that I would definitely do again. It was such an amazing experience. The boat was in rough condition, and Globe Sailor did not give us a lot of information when it came to like finding the boat and getting there, but it was still so worth it. This is my mom trying out the paddleboard. We all tried it the last day, and all kind of fell.
There you go.
And on the very last day, when we got off the boat, we had a couple of hours to spare before our flight, so we explored the capital, which is Victoria, before getting to the airport. The airport was so small and cute. That's the door to get through customs. It's wild. And then you just walk on the like tarmac to get to your plane, and the water is like just there. I was considering running for it and having the last dip. Look, you're just like taking off from the ocean, from the sea. I had like a 10.5 layover in Doha, so I got myself a lounge access so that I could shower and rest and have some food. It was well worth it, having a bit of time to relax, because I got the cheaper flights that gave me a 10.5 hour layover. So the experience was so wonderful overall. I would definitely do a catamaran trip again. I would definitely do it again, like chartered like we did, where everything's organized, because I don't know anything about sailing, and I don't think I'll learn anything anytime soon. And having the boat there was such an amazing like experience to not have to think about lunch, breakfast, lunch, and dinner every single day. the company we bought with was called Globe Sailor. I feel like we were missing a lot of information, and I would probably book with them again, but I would ask for more information because I feel like that was lacking when we arrived. We were kind of on our own. And the people we were with were just amazing. It was so nice being with a group of women that were on the same mindset as us. And overall, I don't know if I would book it last minute like that because I tend to get really anxious when I travel, and the days leading up to the travel were just pure full anxiety ball. So yeah, that's something to think about. I don't know if it would book earlier, if it would have been different, but I know that I was very nauseous the couple of days leading up to the travel. So that's my experience. Thanks for watching, and see you later on a probably DIY video.